Hello everyone, welcome back once again. I am Nicodemus Kane. Today is February the 17th of 2023. Today I'm going to read Ecclesiastes chapter 6, because we said that Fridays would be for Ecclesiastes. Because I started doing this because my father-in-law had told me about Ecclesiastes 1, which had the line, "He who increases knowledge increases sorrows." And I wanted to read that because that whole chapter really said something to me. And since then I said, well, let's finish it. It's only 12 chapters. I think it's 12 chapters. Yeah, it's only 12 chapters, and there's a lot more in Ecclesiastes than I thought there was. So I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and read it. Let's go ahead and read it through. So that's what we're doing. It is a bit of a, a bit of a left turn from reading Jeremiah. And I still, to this day, since I've done this, 5 weeks now, maybe 6 weeks, I don't know. I still go to Jeremiah first, and then I have to stop and then have to go back to Ecclesiastes because I forget. You get so used to doing something, you forget. It happens. I don't really have much on current events other than we missed a 216 yesterday. Yesterday was February 16th, and it just completely flipped my mind. Didn't even think about it. 216 is 6 to the third power. So that's 6 times 6 times 6. The only major thing that I saw, and of course it never fails that it's always some other big thing that nobody talks about. And I don't know how big of a thing it was. Apparently there was a fire in Florida at a plant nursery, I guess. And there were hundreds of plastic containers, plant containers that were burned in this fire. So, in other words, it was another large chemical fire inside of the United States. Down in Florida now, that it's amazing how all these things just constantly seem to be happening right now. I saw somebody posted something that said that there were 5 trained aeromets, and remember, I said I found 3. But I could not find any more than that. Another person said, there was one in Ohio, there was one in Tennessee, there was one in Texas, there was one in South Carolina. Now, the one we looked up in South Carolina, that one happened a long time ago. If there was another one that happened sooner than that, I did not see it. But maybe it did. I don't know. Maybe it did. It's very strange. But then there was, a tanker truck that spilled in, I can't remember where it was. I can't remember where they said where it was, but there was a tanker truck spilled, something else happened, and now this. And even the normies, even the ones that all they ever want to do is post stuff about COVID or post stuff about, the government or whatever, even they are starting to ask the questions, what is going on? And the only thing that I could really come up with to answer that question is, well, your own government is trying to kill you. Somebody said it perfectly today with a meme that said that the smart people of the world are trying to go out to the places where big government can't control them, get out of the big cities so that they could live in peace out in the out in the rural areas away from all the craziness. And there was a picture of picture of the fire in Ohio with Biden eating ice cream and said, "That's what you think, man." Which is exactly what it's coming down to. They don't want you. It is a very interesting situation where 1 week ago we were talking about 15-minute cities. And everybody said, no, we don't want to have 15-minute cities. There's no way. And for a while now, everybody's been asking the question, well, how are they going to herd us all into the cities? Well, how do you think they're going to herd us all into the cities? It's going to be some situation. It's going to be something. They're either going to kill you or they're going to force you into the cities. They don't want to kill us all just yet. They want to force us into the cities, see who's going to fight back. Those are the people that are going to die first. Those are that are willing to take what they give you. Those are the ones they want to keep, because those are the ones they know they can subjugate. And then it's very easy. Once they get everybody out of the rural areas, force them into the big cities, then they just bulldoze the landscape as if nothing happened, because they know that nature will reclaim concrete and cement within 10 years, so that it'll look like nothing happened. There was nobody here. All they have to do is just bulldoze the houses that burn the houses. Energy directed weapons are a thing. They tested them out almost constantly for the past 10-20 years. And I absolutely believe that those are a real thing. You can't have gigantic wildfire house fires where just the house burns, yet the garbage cans will not melt, where the trees beside the house will not even be singed. You will have cars that will spontaneously melt, and yet nothing else around them will be touched. Now, I don't know how that kind of fire works. I am not the smartest man in the world when it comes to that kind of stuff, but I know what's weird when I see it, and that's weird. So it could be very easy for them just to use some kind of a weapon to knock out all the houses and then let everything just grow over, so that they can start their, what do you want to call it? They're going to call it quarantine zones, I bet you. They're environmental quarantine zones, the places where you can't walk. Because that's the whole part of this 15-minute city stuff, is that you won't need to go anywhere else but within this city. You don't get to go outside of the zones. You don't get to go look at nature. You don't get to go look at anything. You are forced to stay right where you are. And that everything inside of that place will be shared. There will be nothing that will be yours. And remember, the motto is, you will own nothing and you will be happy. They talked about this in it wasn't like a TED Talk. I think it might have been a TED Talk. I don't know, something else where it was a woman. I don't know if she was German or Swedish or whatever she was. Real heavy accent came on there saying, "I own nothing. I live in my house, but I don't own my house. When I leave, somebody else comes into my house and sleeps." It's like, why would I need a drill? I just rent a drill. Somebody brings a drill, I use a drill, and then I give it back and they take it away. Everything will be a service. They've gotten you into this service-based mentality for the past 10 years, 20 years, to get you into not needing to have anything. That everything that you need, somebody else can give you, and it will all be used equipment. Sounds very much like socialism, if you ask me. Where it's only so many things that everybody gets, and they have to share it. That you can't get anything new, and it's all government provided. You really truly think the government is going to keep up with the maintenance on borrowed equipment? It's such a joke. But nothing will be yours. Everything will be shared. You will get rationed and portioned food every day. You will get living quarters assigned to you. And when you're not inside of your living quarters, somebody else will be in there. You will be tracked and traced everywhere you go. And every single movement that you do will be recorded on a device to which they could know whether you are working, whether you are sleeping, whether you are eating, whether you are going to the bathroom. And based upon those things that you do, you will be credited a certain amounts of whatever they have. Whatever it's not going to be money. It can be money, because with money you could buy stuff. This is going to be something else. This is going to be something else that you can buy and sell. I don't know what it is. I have no clue. But it will be on some kind of a credit system so that you can, well, it'll probably be a service system. So that you have to pay for the service of the things that you want. You have to pay for the service of your television. You have to pay for the service of your food delivery system. You have to pay for the service of, renting that drill. I don't know, what would you need a drill for? You don't own anything. See? It's a very bleak and dark world that they want you to live in. This isn't even a world that they can force you to live in. This is what they want. This is absolutely what they want. This is what they've been talking about for years and years and years. If this is what they want, they can very easily force you into getting this. That's what people don't seem to understand either. Is that evil men that have power can force you to do whatever they want you to do if you don't fight back. And there are kids out there right now that think this is the best thing going. Oh, this is going to be the best thing ever. We're going to get to live for free, and we're not going to work, and it's going to be utopia, and everybody's going to be free to do whatever they want. You're not going to be free. There's no freedom there. You're going to be trapped inside of a 15-minute cage with all your craptastic little friends. You're going to have nothing to your name. You're going to have no life whatsoever other than what the government tells you to have. That's not freedom. That's slavery. You're going to be tracked and traced. Every single thing you do, everywhere you go, every movement that you make, they will be able to know. Those patents are already out there. I already said this stuff. W0060606, that patent, that's not just about movements in order to create a cryptocurrency, to mine cryptos. That's not what that's about. That is a tracking element. It is a patented tracking element inside of your body to tell some device what your movements are. I made the joke that it would be something akin to being stuck inside of a house watching porn and jerking off. It's a little graphic, but it would be something like that, where you get your certain porn allotment, and they would know that you did what you did. I said it might very well be the hamster on the cage wheel, where you just have to run on the cage, run on the wheel constantly, where they would know how long you ran, how much energy you produced, and based upon that, they could give you your credits. It's that kind of thing. That's where this is going. all of these patents, all of these things they say, and everything is a service-based system, that every single bit of it can track and trace every single step you take. And it's not just to give you credits. It's to make sure you're not doing things they don't want you to do. If you walk too far away from the exclusionary zone, if you walk out into the wilderness, if you walk out into nature, go see some trees, they will know. They'll be able to track you. I showed a map long time back of places where they say they want to cut off from public use. It's all, it's all basically nature preserves and forests, things like that, because they want the trees there. They want nature to grow back because they're so scared that the world is going to end, that the world is going to flood because everything's going to get so hot. And it's not. We know that. If you knew the truth of the world, you wouldn't be worried about climate change. You'd have to worry about man-made climate change, because men are now in charge of ruining the world. Don't ever let anyone talk to you about, well, everything's going to end, everything's getting hotter, everything's getting colder, the climate's changing. When somebody ever tells you that, you make sure you tell them, well, then why doesn't the government ever use the 80 to 90 plus years worth of weather manipulation patents that they've had on the books? They've been able to change the weather for all this time. Why don't they ever stop tornadoes? Why don't they ever stop hurricanes? Why don't they ever stop floodings? Why don't they ever stop this stuff? If you go look at the, I cannot remember what it's called, the satellite imagery of electrical impulses, where they see storms and things moving across the, let's just say, the United States. And one thing that this electronic satellite does is it shows pulses, radar pulses. Go look at that, and go look at the massive radar spikes that happen in the big cities, that you can see the storm systems moving in between the places where these things aren't popping up, where certain cities don't turn their radars on, and it flows right through the middle of them. They can direct storms. They can create clouds. They can seed clouds. They can do all kinds of things to the weather. So why don't they save people from storms that they know will kill you? Why won't they create cloud covers over top of great huge fires, like the one in Ohio, like the one in Florida? This technology's been there. They have that ability to be able to direct storms, to manipulate storms, to make it rain when it was never supposed to rain. Why don't they ever use it? The best example of that could be steering hurricanes. You ever wonder why a hurricane just suddenly decides that it wants to pivot on a 90-degree axis? I think hurricanes do that. It's crazy. All my life I've thought, oh wow, it's amazing how a hurricane will just decide that instead of going north past an entire state the way that it's supposed to, because they want to stay above water. You remember, hurricanes want to stay above water. They want to stay above water, and they don't want to go straight over land. If they go over land, they're going to lose all that water. It's not like it's a living thing, no, but they want to stay where they can continue to circulate. I understand that, yes, that hurricanes can make landfall and yes, all that kind of stuff, but they would want to naturally flow over water because that's the way that the wind and the water and everything that feeds them, that's what it would want to do. It would want to creep up that way. But I have seen hurricanes. I've lived in Florida. I have seen hurricanes that have decided that they want to go up the side of the coast of Florida and then make a 90-degree turn and go right across. And by the time that it hits the Gulf of Mexico, it's depleted. Completely. Washed out. That doesn't seem natural to me. I've seen videos of the hurricane that flew right up towards New York City, was making a beeline towards Manhattan. And then suddenly, magically out of the blue, it decides that it wants to make a 130-degree turn to the east and go away. Do you know what day that happened? September 11th, 2001. Nobody remembers the hurricane. There was a hurricane it was going to make landfall that day. Just pointed right at the city. And then suddenly, magically, it decides that it wants to stop, make this big, huge turn, and go back the other way. They have the ability. They have the power to do these things. And they will use these things against you to corral you into these cities where they can control you and manipulate you. And you won't be able to go anywhere. You won't be able to do anything. And most kids nowadays, they don't care. They've been conditioned into a world of living as small as possible with as little things as possible. Not having any earthly possessions whatsoever. Everything they need to see, read, touch, smell is on their phones, on their computers. You won't need books. You won't need televisions. You won't need physical media of any kind. Everything will be on the internet, ready for you at any time they want. And they can damn sure, and I bet you they will, take away anything they want to take away from you so that you won't know the truth. They will edit. They will ban, they will do everything to that information that you can get because you don't own the physical media. And you will be controlled. What's the best one? The one I heard yesterday, which I think it blows my mind, but this is exactly what's happening. Disney is banning certain Scrooge McDuck comic books because they were offensive. Two books, I don't remember exactly what they were, but they said that there were some comic books that were considered to be offensive. So they're banning them from any reprints from here on out. That means just like television episodes that you get on streaming services. You'll get episode 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 12, 13, and you'll wonder, well, where's this episode at? It's because they have to take it out for some reason. Whether it's a copyright or whether it's some dispute with an actor, I've heard that before, or whether it's because it's offensive. They just take it out. And you don't get to see that episode unless you own the physical media. And physical media is going away. They are slowly but surely phasing out every bit of physical media possible. And again, that leads to you not being able to buy the thing. It's going to be a service. PlayStation and Xbox video games are doing the same thing. Their streaming services, their Xbox Live and their PlayStation Plus are becoming better than buying games. I know this for a fact. I play video games. My PlayStation Plus, I am still playing games on my PlayStation Plus subscription, and I have not bought those games. I absolutely understand what's happening. what's going on. That's why I'm doing my best to mitigate that as much as possible on my end, and trying to get all of my physical media together to make sure that they don't take it away. But this whole thing with the Disney stuff, because Disney is buying out so many streaming things, all these movies, all this other stuff. Netflix is making their own shows. Netflix doesn't even have to ban anything. They just have to make whatever they want to, and most of the stuff they're making is repeats of something else. They're starting to control and manipulate the narrative, and the old narrative is gone. Is that you don't get to find that stuff unless you physically own that. And again, most kids will grow up in a world where they will be taught to not worry about physical media. Everything you ever need will be on a phone, and if it was taken away, it was taken away because it was offensive, so you don't need to see it anyways. This is the world we live in now. It will be completely wiped of all history, except for the history they want. You will own nothing, and you will be happy. You will be inside of your 15-minute city, which will be as convenient as they will possibly make it. You will be tracked, traced, and controlled everywhere you go. You will not have any freedom whatsoever. You will only get what they want to give you. And your entire life will be nothing more than what they want it to be. The way they will do it is they will cause chemical spills, they will cause fires, they will cause all these things to force you to move closer and closer into the cities. And once you're in there, then they can control you. And they can very easily put you in all of these stack and pack apartment buildings that I see going up everywhere. Indiana. Yeah, all around Indiana, it's stack and packs and warehouses. They are putting up massive warehouses in Indiana. And I am like, why? What is this? 5-6 years ago, there was a guy that was going around California, just on the edge of Los Angeles, that he kept saying it too. It's stack and pack apartment buildings and warehouses. What's going on here? It's so that they can get you to move into it. You can move into these places, whether you're living in these apartments or whether they're going to convert these warehouses into, I don't know. Something's going on. Something's happening. Nobody seems to be talking about this kind of stuff. Not like this. People will talk about, oh, this is happening, that's happening, but nobody ever seems to put the pieces together. Nobody ever stops to think, well, wait a minute, why is this happening? That's exactly why. They've told you. You will own nothing, you will be happy. You will live inside of your 15-minute cities, and you won't have to worry about a thing. Everything will be on your phone, everything will be on your laptop. Just go out and just live life. Get your microchips, get your patented tracking systems, every single bit of it. It's crazy stuff. Ecclesiastes chapter 6. Let's go ahead and read this. I went on a 30-minute tear, and if you don't understand what's happening, if you can't see it happening, you need to wake up. You need to understand what's going on, because it's sorry, my granddaughter is awake and she's already yelling. That's wonderful. kind of world are we living for these, kind of world are we leaving for these kids? Kind of world is this where we're just going to let this happen? Alright, it's chapter 6. There's a lot of pilcrows in this. So we are going to, we're going to be stopping and starting a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, at least. 12 verses, 4 pilcrows. Think about that for a second. Ecclesiastes chapter 6. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, and it is common among men. A man to whom God hath given riches, wealth, and honor, so that he wanteth nothing for his soul of all that he desireth. Yet God giveth him not power to eat thereof, but a stranger eateth it. This is vanity, and it is an evil disease, and there is a pilcrow right at 3. Wow. Alright, back up to the top. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, and it is common among men. Yes, there is. I have talked about it day after day after day. A man to whom God hath given riches, wealth, and honor, so that he wanteth nothing for his soul of all that he desireth. Yet God giveth him not power to eat thereof, but a stranger eateth it. This is vanity, and it is an evil disease. A man to whom God hath given riches, wealth, and power, and honor. Remember, I even said yesterday that God gives more to some men than he does others. For people that get, some people get more and are able to give of themselves, take their portion, and some people have less portion and they don't have a problem with it. It is those that get what they have, but they want more, and they take more, and they take more. This is saying for someone whom God has given all these things, yet a stranger takes it. That the man himself cannot enjoy the things that he has, that somebody else takes it from him. Tyrants, warlords, politicians, those who tax that person. That kind of puts a crimp on your understanding of being subject to your rulers, doesn't it? All throughout Ecclesiastes, there has been this kind of underlying understanding of a man can enjoy what he has if it is given to him by God. But a man who creates all of these things for himself, that does not help anyone else, that does not do anything for God, that does not do anything for himself other than to lift himself up. That is vanity. At least that's the way I get it. I'm sure somebody else could read that and find it completely different ways. Again, I am not a quote-unquote learned scholar. I am just a guy reading this. But I can tell you what, that first line within itself, it should be like the basis for everything you read in the Bible. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, and it is common among men. Which means that it is well known that all men have this kind of evil. Verse 3, if a man beget 100 children, and live many years, so that the days of his years be many, and his soul be not filled with good, and also that he have no burial. I say that an untimely birth is better than he. For he cometh in with vanity, and departeth in darkness, and his name shall be covered with darkness. Moreover, he hath not seen the sun, nor known anything. This hath more rest than the other. Sorry, I had my granddaughter come in. Sorry again. You know, little kids wake up, and they wake up early. And as a parent, you have to kind of wake up with them. If you can't get them back to sleep, if they're really awake, you just kind of gotta, settle it down in your head, Hey, if you don't want to lay back down, then I guess we're up. I guess this is the way it is. To force a kid to lay down and go to sleep whenever they're wide ass awake, that's... I have massive problems with certain people's parenting techniques. I have an even bigger problem with parents that tell me that I am undermining their parenting techniques by doing certain things that I do. It's enough to really piss you off about it. Verse 3, if a man beget 100 children, and live many years, so that the days of his years be many, and his soul be not filled with good, and also that he have no burial, I say that an untimely birth is better than he. So if he lives all of his days, and if his soul is not filled with good, it is better for an untimely birth. For he cometh in with vanity, and departeth in darkness, and his name shall be covered with darkness. I am trying to save you from the yelling and the screaming that I have going on in my hallway right now. Moreover, he hath not seen the sun, nor known anything. This hath more rest than the other. All right. I think it's being handled. Verse 6. Yea, though he live 1,000 years, twice told, yet hath he seen no good. Do not all go to one place? All the labor of man is for his mouth, and yet the appetite is not filled. For what hath the wise more than the fool? What hath the poor that knoweth to walk before the living? Let's back up to 6. Yea, though he live 1,000 years twice told, yet hath he seen no good. Do not all go to one place? All the labor of man is for his mouth, and yet the appetite is not filled. All the labor of man is for his mouth, and yet the appetite is not filled. For what hath the wise more than the fool? What hath the poor that knoweth to walk before the living? What hath the wise before the fool? This is one of those contemplative chapters. Definitely going to have to contemplate on that. Verse 9, better is the sight of the eyes than the wandering of the desire. This is also vanity and vexation of spirits. That which hath been is named already, and it is known that it is man. Neither may he contend with him that is mightier than he. I liked that first one. I'm Pilcrows all the way through, guys, like I said. Better is the sight of the eyes than the wandering of the desire. Better is the sight of the eyes. It's better to see it than to desire it. This is also vanity and vexation of spirit. That which hath been is named already, and it is known that it is man. Neither may he contend with him that is mightier than he. Verse 11, seeing there be many things that increase vanity, what is man the better? For who knoweth what is good for man in this life? All the days of his vain life which he spendeth as a shadow. For who can tell a man, what shall be after him under the sun? So 11 again, seeing there be many things that increase vanity, what is man the better? There are many things that increase vanity. Seeing that there are many things in this world that are no use to us whatsoever, what is man the better? For who knoweth what is good for a man in this life, all the days of his vain life which he spendeth as a shadow? For who can tell a man what shall be after him under the sun? Yet again, it is calling out the things of this world that do nothing for us. That all of the things of this world, if we do it in goodness, if we do it to help others, to work for others, to not just be for our own darkness and evil. Those things are good, and they will profit a man much. But for those men that take all for themselves, have nothing come out of it other than what they take away from it, it is evil. And there is so much of it. So much of it that is a darkness and an evil. That all things in this world are vanity and are not good for a man to take. Especially to take more than what he needs. God gives men riches. God gives men honor. It is what he does with that makes the difference. It's the best way I see it. I'm sure again there's more to it. That's really all I got for today, guys. I gotta go out and see if I can salvage what's going on outside. It is It is a sad situation. We are children, raising children in a world that is made to subvert us and manipulate us. And we are all broken. Some people just don't want to hear that. A lot of people don't want to hear that. We are all broken. And it is possible to be fixed. There is help. And there is nothing in this world that can help you overcome that. You can go to your therapists and your psychologists and your psychiatrists, your self-help gurus, all these other people that write all these books who say the same exact things as men before them who have written books, who have been well known to be they've been well known to be people that will try to subjugate you into false narratives, into an ideology. And so many people think that all of these problems that we have as humans are simply mental deficiencies that can be cured with therapy or medicine or even self-help, loving yourself. And we know that none of that's true. All that does is create is more needful people. Creates more broken people. And it's sad. It really is sad. And people just don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear the truth that there is a better way. Because they think there's only one way. Because they haven't been told any other way. So I'm going to go. I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care of yourselves. I pray for us all. I absolutely pray for us all. It is time to be better than this, guys. We just gotta start doing better. Alright, I will talk to y'all later.